The air hung thick and heavy, a cloying humidity that clung to Kaya like a shroud. One moment she was performing the binding ritual under the pale, indifferent gaze of the Montana moon. The next, the earth had swallowed her whole. Gone was the crisp scent of pine and the whisper of the wind, replaced by the metallic tang of something ancient and the low, rhythmic thrumming that vibrated in her bones. Heli. Kaya, the last shaman of the Whispering Wind tribe, clawed at the crumbling earth, her fingers digging into something cold and slick. But years of training, of communing with the spirits, stilled her fear. She closed her eyes, drawing upon the deep well of power within her, the legacy of generations whispered down through blood and bone. When she opened them, she saw, not with her eyes, but with the sight, a network of tunnels stretched before her, carved into the living rock, illuminated by an ethereal green glow emanating from veins of luminescent moss clinging to the walls. The air pulsed with energy, a symphony of whispers that both soothed and unsettled. This was something else. She rose, her worn leather boots sinking slightly into the damp earth. The binding ritual, intended to protect her people from the encroaching greed of the surface world, had instead brought her here. But why? And what was this place? As she ventured deeper, the tunnels opened into a vast cavern, a subterranean city carved from obsidian and jade. Buildings rose in tiered levels, connected by intricate bridges that spanned chasms of inky darkness. The architecture was alien, yet possessed a strange, haunting beauty. And then she saw them, not human, not quite tall and slender, with skin the color of polished silver and eyes that glowed with the same eerie green light as the moss. They moved with a fluid grace, their voices, when she heard them, a melodic hum that resonated within her mind. They called themselves the Sylvans, the keepers of the deep, and they were dying. Awatichwas, their leader, a woman named Lyra, approached Kaya with a hesitant grace. Her silver hair flowed around her like liquid moonlight, and her eyes held a sorrow that echoed through the cavern. The one prophesied to come. Kaya, still reeling from the shock of her arrival, could only stare. Prophesied? By whom? By the ancients, Lyra replied, her gaze distant. Before the fall, before the darkness claimed our world. The story Lyra told was a tragic one. The Sylvans, once a thriving civilization, had lived in harmony with the earth, drawing their power from the life force of the planet. But a millennia ago, a cataclysmic event, known only as the Fall, had shattered their world. A blight, a creeping corruption, had begun to consume their land, poisoning their food, draining their life force. We have tried everything, Lyra said, her voice heavy with despair. Our healers, our mages, our scientists. Nothing has worked. We are the last of our kind, and soon we will be gone. The prophecy spoke of a shaman from the surface world, one who could heal the land and restore the Sylvans to their former glory. Kaya, a shaman of the Whispering Wind tribe, a people deeply connected to the earth, was their last hope. But Kaya was also the last of her kind. The binding ritual had been performed out of desperation, a last-ditch effort to protect her people from the relentless encroachment of the Black Ridge Corporation, a mining company that was stripping the land bare, poisoning the water, and destroying everything in its path. But she was also being hunted. The Black Ridge Corporation, sensing something amiss after Kaya's disappearance, had sent a team of mercenaries into the Montana wilderness, led by a ruthless man named Marcus Thorne. He was a hunter, a predator, and he wouldn't stop until he found Kaya and silenced her forever. Kaya spent weeks learning the ways of the Sylvans, immersing herself in their ancient knowledge. She discovered that the blight was not a natural phenomenon, but a deliberate act of sabotage, a poisoning of the earth on a scale she could barely comprehend. To reach the obsidian core, Kaya would need the help of a Sylvan warrior named Kale. He was Lyra's brother, a fierce and brooding warrior who harbored a deep resentment towards the surface world. He blamed them for the fall, for the destruction of his people. But he was also the only one who knew the treacherous path to the obsidian core. Their journey was fraught with peril. They navigated treacherous tunnels, battled monstrous creatures mutated by the blight, and evaded the watchful eyes of the corrupted Sylvans, those who had succumbed to the darkness and now served its insidious will. Kale, initially suspicious of Kaya, slowly began to respect her strength, her compassion, and her unwavering commitment to saving his people. Kaya, in turn, saw beyond Kale's anger and resentment, recognizing the deep pain and loss that fueled his actions. As they neared the obsidian core, they discovered the truth behind the fall. The Black Ridge Corporation, in their relentless pursuit of profit, had stumbled upon the underground world and discovered the Sylvan source of power, a network of ley lines that crisscrossed the earth. The obsidian core was a place of immense power, a swirling vortex of energy that thrummed with malevolent intent. At its center lay a massive obsidian crystal, pulsating with darkness, the source of the blight. To cleanse the crystal, Kaya would have to perform a ritual of immense power, a ritual that would require her to sacrifice a part of herself. But as she prepared to begin the ritual, Marcus Thorne and his mercenaries arrived. They had tracked Kaya through the tunnels, their presence a violation of the sacred space. Kaya, drawing upon the power of the earth, the spirits of her ancestors, and the love she had come to feel for the Sylvans, confronted Thorne. She saw the darkness in his heart, the greed that had consumed him, the lack of empathy that had allowed him to perpetrate such devastation. She offered him a chance to stop, to repent, but he refused. He was too far gone, too consumed by his own ambition. In a final, desperate act, Kaya unleashed the full force of her power. A blinding light erupted from her, pushing back the darkness, cleansing the obsidian core. But the ritual came at a cost. Kaya, in sacrificing a part of herself, had severed her connection to the surface world. She could never return to her people, to the Montana wilderness she had loved. But she had saved the Sylvans, restored their land, and given them a chance to rebuild their civilization. In the aftermath, Lyra stepped forward, her eyes shining with gratitude. "You have saved us, Shaman," she said. "You are one of us now." Kaya looked at the faces of the Sylvans, their silver skin glowing in the ethereal light, their eyes filled with hope. She was no longer the last of her kind. She was the first of a new beginning. Years passed. Kaya, now known as Kaya the Lightbringer, became a revered figure among the Sylvans. She helped them rebuild their society, guiding them with her wisdom and her connection to the earth. She taught them to respect the balance of nature, to live in harmony with the world around them. One day, a young Sylvan child approached Kaya, her eyes wide with wonder. "Kaya Lightbringer," she said, "tell me the story of the shaman who came from the surface world." She knew that her story would live on, a testament to the power of hope, the importance of compassion, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. Even in the deepest darkness, a single spark of light could ignite a revolution. But the story doesn't end there. The Black Ridge Corporation, though defeated, was not destroyed. Their reach extended far beyond the Montana wilderness, their influence woven into the fabric of society. They knew about the Sylvans, about their power, and they would stop at nothing to exploit it. A group of shadowy figures, their faces obscured by darkness, were discussing their next move. "The shaman is a problem," one of them said, his voice cold and calculating. "She has disrupted our plans." "But not for long," another replied, a sinister grin spreading across his face. "We have a new weapon, something that even the shaman cannot withstand." The war for the future of the Sylvans was far from over. The darkness was gathering, and Kaya knew that she would have to be ready to fight once more.